Hello all. As we reach the end of the first quarter 2024, I thought it would be a great place to shed some light on my thesis, which has started in 2022 and is continuing to play out into 2024. There are larger forces at play, so I wanted to share these with you as we continue to look to build wealth over time. At the macro level, the baby boomer generation is retiring and is drawing down from their pensions, which are largely invested in the stock market. This means that markets will rarely ever drop 50%, as the entire system would implode. As we saw during COVID, governments stepped in and printed money as soon as the markets dipped. Next, global GDP, which is the productivity of every nation, is below the rate of debt levels. This means the economic structure is unsustainable. Therefore, governments must continue to print money to keep the music going. In addition, the US and China are currently in talks to work on a weaker US dollar. Why? The world needs a weaker US dollar, as most of the world's debt payments are in US dollar. As the US dollar drops, it creates breathing room for economies to use their budgets to grow. Another important driver of markets is global liquidity. Right now, China is pumping money in their economy, which is affecting global markets. Other countries will follow, such as Japan, the EU, Canada, and the US. Not to mention that central banks are starting to announce rate cuts. All of this during an election year in the US. This bodes well for risky assets. Lastly, if we live in a world where money printing is king, an aging population in retirement, and global GDP below debt levels, you want to own scarce, desirable assets that protect from devaluation of currency. Since 2020, the US dollar has lost nearly 25% of its value, this being the number one currency in the world. This effect is devastating for the individual as it destroys purchasing power. This is largely why the stock market, real estate, and crypto have continued to rise in 2023 and 2024, despite all the doom and gloom calling for recessions. As long as governments print money, these assets will continue to rise. Plan accordingly.